Hi, how you doing? This is Imhotep, and in this video we're going to go through Windows Azure, which is a very popular cloud computing platform that a lot of companies are taking advantage of. And the reason why is because you can pretty much put your data center on Windows Azure, and you don't have to worry about getting a rack. You don't have to worry about getting the physical servers and virtualizing them and doing all the wiring and mapping out the power requirements and installing the applications. I mean, you will have to do some installing, but pretty much Windows Azure is set up for you to set your systems up on the cloud. You pay as you go, so you pay for just what you use. And for a lot of companies, this is a tremendous uh, savings, and as well as you're able to get up and running a lot faster. Plus, you're using a really killer backbone, which is Microsoft's Windows Azure infrastructure, which is probably I'm not going to say unlimited, but they probably can afford you know some pretty massive data centers, as opposed to most small businesses. Um, Now, if you're Facebook and Google and things like that, you you can afford to build your own data center. You have plenty of money, but even those guys might still leverage Windows Azure for the cost savings, to put some apps. You don't have to put your entire data center up on Windows Azure. So anyway, enough talk. I'm just going to log in. Basically, right now this is January 10th, and Microsoft has a $200 free trial. So what that means is that you can try Windows Azure for a month, up to $200 for free. So you don't have to pay for the usage up for $200, up to $200. And so the scenario, there's a couple scenarios in which this works. And so there's one scenario where you can run two small virtual machines. You can run you can set up a SQL server, and a few other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple virtual machines just so you can see basically how Windows Azure is all set up, just on a basic level. But you can do a whole lot more than what we're going to get into in this video. But this just gives you the basis of just how easy it can be to get set up on here. So I'm going to go ahead and get logged into the portal. So I'm just going to go into the portal. You got to have a Microsoft account. I just used an account I already had. Okay, it's redirecting me. Alright, so I'm going to put my password in here. Alright. When you do the 1-month trial, it will ask you for a credit card, but you won't get charged on your credit card unless you go over the $200 allowance that they're giving you. Alright, so now that you're in here in Windows Azure, we're looking at the All Items tab. So you have websites, virtual machines, mobile services, cloud services. You can pretty much see everything they have here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select virtual machines. I haven't created any virtual machines, so I don't see them in a list. If I have created virtual machines, they would be listed here, but I'm going to go ahead and create one so you can see how it works. So now basically, create the virtual machine. Now you can do a quick create, which will give you the option to select. These are basically already templated. Now this is pretty cool. They have Oracle Linux, they have OpenLogic, Ubuntu, SUSE Linux. They got a couple versions, SQL Server. They have Server 2008. They have Server 2012 Data Center. So they really already put a lot into making this easy for you. What we're going to do is we're going to set up Windows Server 2008 R2 Service Pack 1. Alright, so I'm going to do a small core. Actually, maybe I'll do it extra small, just so I can save. But you can see, you can actually get this guy up to 56 gig in RAM. Now I don't know if I can run that with the $200 credit, and because it may run over. But and I want to sort of show you everything. But if you needed this type of power, boom, there it is. 8 cores, 56 gigs. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Let's see what they have for. They probably have the same thing for 2012 data center. Yeah, same thing. Same options in terms of the size. So I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to do 2012 data center. So let's just do the. And I'm going to do an extra small shared core. All right. And so now what you want to do is for DNS name, this is going to be the name that you're going to use to connect to this virtual machine. And so and the way you would connect to it is just via RDP, you know, from wherever, as long as you have internet access, into that virtual machine that you create. So I'm going to go ahead here and let me pull up my notepad and see what name do I want to give this thing. I think I'm going to give this guy, let me see, I'm going to say VM 2012 1 10 14. I know that's a really ugly name. Let me see something here. You can't see my screen yet, just give me a moment. Alright, so I'm going to try this VMware 2012. It'll tell you as well if there's another DNS name on the network under the .cloudapp.net with that name. Alright, so now we're going to pick a username. I'm just going to pick administrator. Alright, the username is not allowed. Okay, I got you. Alright, so I'm going to do, alright, just going to do my first and last name here. Alright, so I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Alright, and then for password, I'm just going to use one of my passwords that I always remember. It's not a real tough password, but it's easy for me to remember. So now region affinity group. This is sort of, okay, where do you want this virtual machine created, on which data center on Microsoft's Windows Azure network. So I'm in Washington DC, actually Maryland, so I'm going to use East United States. And basically that's it. Now I'm going to click create a virtual machine. Okay, and it's going to go ahead and start provisioning. And once it's done, we're going to be able to reach it at that DNS name, and I'll be able to show that to you. Alright, so sometimes this can take a little while, but not long. What I mean by a little while, it's less than 30 minutes, definitely. The last time I set one of these up, it was a while ago, but it was maybe 30 minutes or less, and it was ready to rock and roll. And so basically what it's doing is it's creating the virtual machine, getting everything set up for you so that it's live up online for you to use. So just think about this. You can have, how long did that take us? We selected an image to use, we selected a username, password, we selected the sizing that we wanted. Just think about how long that would take you if you're doing this manually, you know, getting the physical machine, figuring out how much RAM. Maybe you have to get the RAM ordered, or maybe you have to wait for the physical machine to be delivered to you from Dell or HP or whoever, IBM. Just think about how long that takes and how long this process takes, and you're up and running. You might even just want to use Windows Azure for your development team, or even if you're a IT professional like myself, you might want to use Windows Azure as your lab, and basically set up a few virtual machines. And if you you have a monthly budget, you can pretty much put you can put as many virtual machines up on here as you want, and you can test to your heart's content. I mean, for the most part, it's going to be hard to find. Yeah, I mean, you can get a server with 56 gig, but in some cases, this might be cheaper. This may be a cheaper option. So this is running, and also this can be an add-in to if you do have a data center and you're happy with it, and and it's cost effective for you, but you want to add some additional services. You can still use Windows Azure with your existing data center. So it can all be connected and interconnected, things like that. I'm not trying to sell you on Windows Azure. I'm just trying to give you a picture of how beneficial this can be and how you can leverage this technology. So I mean, you can use VMware. It's great. You can have your own VMware infrastructure set up already, and if you decide that you want to do some you want to back up your infrastructure, you can definitely use Windows Azure to back up your VMware data center infrastructure. You can also use this for backing up your or you can have your SQL databases up and running up on Windows Azure. Also for identity management within Active Directory, if you need to have better you need to have better identity management to allow other companies to connect in with you via Active Directory. You might want to consider putting your Active Directory up in Windows Azure. Also, the security of Windows Azure is really good. I know a lot of people will laugh and say, yeah, right, it's Microsoft, but I mean, it's pretty solid. It's no different than Amazon's cloud service. They're all going to have a strong level of security. Yeah, they're not impenetrable. They're not foolproof, but I mean, they're as good as most data centers can be. Whether you build your own data center, or or you outsource it, or put it up, on Microsoft or Amazon services. So this guy's almost done. Actually, I think this may be. It's still provisioning, so I'm going to give it a few more minutes here. And like I said, we're on a free trial, so if you want to test this out yourself, just go to Microsoft's, go to windowsazure.com and sign up, and they're giving you a $200 budget for 30 days. It's only 30 days. If you go over the $200, then it switches to a pay-as-you-go, and they'll hit your credit card. So you just want to be aware of that. So don't go on here and start blasting with with a bunch of virtual machines, because you'll probably go over your resource allocation. And there's a spot, and I'll probably do it in another video, where we can see how much resource have we used based on that $200 budget. Okay, so now we are good to go, and it says running. So I'm going to go ahead and I can connect to it from here as well. And this is basically just going to bring up the RDP connection, and actually save this to my desktop. I'm just going to go ahead and run it. Click OK to run that guy. Yep, and I'm going to connect to it, and put my username and password. Yep, connect. Voila, looking good. We got Windows Server 2012, and that was less than 15 minutes. I was spending more time babbling than it took this virtual machine to be provisioned. And this is Windows Server 2012. Just think about that. That's fast. And I've installed 2012 a ton of time, a ton of different times, and it usually takes much longer. But it's because they're using templates. They have it templated and scripted to whereas they can really get you up and running quick. So now we're in our brand new fresh VM. It's accessible over the internet. You get to it, no problem whatsoever. You have all your tools. You can go ahead and start setting up whatever it is you want. Let me see how much space we have. So we have 126 gig, and then we have temporary storage there, 20 gig. All right. Okay. Everything is looking good. Everything is looking good. So there you have it. That's just, right there. I just showed you the power of Windows Azure. I just gave you a snapshot of just doing a simple setup, creating a virtual machine. This is what you can do for your own company, your own organization. You can take advantage of these things right here on Windows Azure. So I hope this video was informative, and in the next video we'll go into a little bit more about Windows Azure, and show you around a little bit more, and then hopefully you'll have a chance to test this out for yourself. Alright, talk to you later. Thanks.